Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Hope you all are doing good. I am Ikra Fatma. I am here to represent the Institute of Electronic and Electrical Engineers IEEE. What is IEEE? IEEE, an association dedicated to advancing innovation and technological excellence for the benefit of humanity, is the world's largest technical professional society. It is designed to serve professionals involved in all aspects of electrical, electronic, and computing fields and related areas of science and technology that underlie modern civilization. And if you are technologically challenged, then this is the platform where you can take the heat. Benefits for the members: network with other technology professionals, establish a professional profile highlighting your accomplishment, join and participate in discussions on various technical interests, create a group to share and collaborate on projects, discover IEEE events and activities throughout the world. Benefits as a member: IEEE membership is about you being competitive and again taking your personal responsibility for your career. IEEE's benefits include venues, resources to learn through different sources, opportunities and tools for members to network, build valuable professional connections, and hone leadership skills. These are essential for managing your career. IEEE membership is more than what you receive. It's also about what you are giving back. When you belong to IEEE, you are also supporting a much larger mission. Benefits for students: e-library, certificate programs, online learning networks, resource centers, chance learning with professionals from all around the world. Why publishing with IEEE? IEEE is by far the most cited publisher in new patents. According to recent studies by 190 Analytics LLC, IEEE journals and conferences proceedings received more than 96,000 patent citations, more than four times the number of citations of any other publisher. IEEE produces 30% of the world's literature in the electrical and electronics, engineering, and computer science fields, publishing well over 100% reviewed journals. The IEEE Explore Digital Library provides access to over 3.07 million documents, including research articles in standards, transactions, and conference publications. More than 7 million downloads each month. More than 1,000 conference proceedings titles are published each year. 140 transactions, journals, and magazines published annually. The official IEEE magazine has a circulation of over 380,000 engineers worldwide, making it one of the leading science and engineering magazines, covers a wide variety of technical issues and advanced in computers, communications, and electronics. IEEE conferences. IEEE publishes more than 1100 leading edge conferences proceedings each every year. These conferences are recognized by academia and industry worldwide as the most vital collection of consolidated published papers in electrical engineering, computer science, and related fields. Over 1 lakh technical professionals who attend the conferences sponsored or co-sponsored by the IEEE in 73 countries. The papers are authored by innovators of today's top emerging technologies. Most IEEE conferences follow a paper selection process and many have a peer review procedures. IEEE Resource Center benefits: access to valuable IEEE society and technical community content, access to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through an easy-to-use global portal. Valuable peer-reviewed technical products available at little or no cost. Enhanced value of IEEE Society membership. Most technical content available at no cost for society members in their respective resource center. Goal of IEEE: be a trusted source of educational services and resources to support lifelong learning, provide opportunities for career and professional development, enhance public comprehension of building and innovation, and seek after principles for their handy application. inspire an overall crowd by building networks that advance specialized interests, advise public arrangement, and grow information to serve humankind. Drive worldwide advancement through expensive cooperation and the sharing of information. Our vision. We will be key to the worldwide technical network and to technical experts all over the world, and to be generally perceived for the contributions of technology and of technical experts in improving worldwide conditions. Our mission. We encourage technological development and greatness to assist mankind. Conveying on this plan, IEEE will encourage a shared domain that is open, comprehensive, and liberated from inclination, and will keep on supporting the quality, reach, and imperativeness of our association for people in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ikra Fatima. I guess Ma'am Maqsood Khatun is disconnected. Please wait for a while. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello,
Assalamualaikum.
everyone. I am Vishal Kumar. I will be hosting you guys, and I welcome you all in session. So, for further, I would like to invite Ma'am Maqsood Khatun for today's webinar about new computer paradigms for web. And yes, one more thing, I also mentioned that a recorded version of this webinar will be available in case if you are disconnected. We would love to hear from you. Any questions you have, you can ask freely in the chat box. Before starting, I would like to announce that certificates will be given to those students who have attended 80% of webinar. Ma'am Maqsood, are you here?
Assalamualaikum, dear students.
Walaikum
I
assalam,
hope
ma'am.
I hope everybody is doing good. And but my laptop is not doing good. Just give me 2 minutes to let it restart, and then I'll be presenting.
Sure, ma'am, sure.
And my dear organizers, you will be letting me in from my laptop. Okay, I'll be joining you in a minute. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
We are here. Okay. So after a lot of troubles with this webinar, finally we are here, and I hope we will get something very productive out of whatever time it is left. So, have a good day, everyone. Here I am, Miss Maksud. Um, Actually, by profession, I'm a software engineer, and nowadays I'm a lecturer, computer science, Zabas Hyderabad, and a founding member of Zabas Computing Society, from where we are presenting this webinar as well. Okay, so we have to discuss few things regarding new computing paradigms, and especially regarding semantic web. So computing is not a new thing for at least our generations. That जैसे हम बचपन में सुनते थे कि एक बच्चा चाय घराने में पैदा हुआ है और सोने का चमचा मुंह में लेकर पैदा हुआ है. So similarly, we are born to have a smart device in our hands rather than a gold spoon. We are having a smart device in our hands and smart televisions where we watch the games and cartoons and everything. So we are the people of that generation. ठीक है? So we अच्छा sometimes ये होता है कि whenever we see everything obvious, जब चीज़ें ऑब्वियस हो जाएं आपके सामने तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें एक्सप्लेन करना मुश्किल हो जाती हैं. ठीक है? So in our days, as computing is has been obvious, so what I feel ke it is very much important to redefine computing. So according to the Wikipedia, it says that computing is a goal-oriented activity requiring benefits from creating computing machinery. ठीक है? And Oxford Dictionary define it like use or operate computers to manage processes and communicate information. Okay, so here you can see a timeline regarding computing and its history. So 1500 BC, we studied abacus, and after that it was the Turing machine, concept of Turing machine in 1930s. But Alan Turing gave the concept of Turing machine in 1930s, but we make it realize in 1990s and at least after 60s, not in 30s. And after that we found computer, a complete computer that has input process output architecture, and technologies evolve day by day. Size of computing devices are being decreased, but the thing that is very much evolving and different is actually the technology behind the scene. See, abacus is working manually. Turing machine is mathematical model. And 1945 we saw a machine that takes some input from the human operators, process it for a purpose, and gives you a meaningful output. Today's machines that we call the computers are also working on the same principle, but many of the things working behind has been changed. Up to 1947, nothing is changed regarding computing, but the only device introduced and it decreased the size of your computers. Next computing concept introduced, that is quantum computing. That is totally different from whatever computing we are using nowadays, because we are using chemical computings. We are actually manipulating the chemical properties of the matter and calculating everything. We are manipulating electrons, we are manipulating electric power on conductors, semiconductors, superconductors, and we are producing the computing outputs. But quantum computing is very different in that case, that it aids, it goes to the subatomic level, it aids uncertainty, it uses the uncertainty principle. After that, there is another concept of computing, that is DNA computing. In 1994, क्या कहते हैं, concept was introduced, but still it is in the process of evolution. But let me introduce you to what the DNA computing is. Actually, may what we see, there is no such device developed yet that replaces the capacity of human brain. There is no technology evolved till today. Even quantum computing, it not evolved in a form that it replaces the storage capacity and the logical understanding neural network complexity of human brain. So what the scientists did, they utilized human DNA as the source of storing large amount of information. And the next is brain like computing. That is a real world model of technological brain, but still it is in the form of evolution. Next, what is our concern in today's webinar is this one, that is evolution of the web technologies. Okay, so not only the web technologies, but now we are shifting to talk about the concept of meaningful web, that we call it semantic web. So here you see the timeline. Internet was introduced in very limited architecture, in very limited number of computers. That is 1930s. 1970s it evolved in the form of network. In 1990s it evolved to read only web and become available commercially for anyone who is connected to that network, global network. And then was internet web within the organization's private web. And 2005 it introduces the collaborative web, that is the part of internet, but still it has some security advantages over the internet. Then comes the responsive web. Responsive web was a great breakthrough inside the web technologies, as nowadays आप में से शायद कोई इस एज का हो कि आपने कभी कोई वेबसाइट जो है कंप्यूटर में खोली हो, तो इट इज़ ऑल ओके, बट व्हेन यू ओपन दैट वेबसाइट इनसाइड योर मोबाइल फ़ोन, तो उसके सारे कंटेंट्स जो है वो आगे पीछे हो जाते हैं. It is not feasible to read and view the contents on that web page in the way it is looking like, or looking inside the computer desktop or other larger screen device. So there comes the concept of responsive web. Responsive web did the created the revolution, that web is designed in a way that it is reshaped according to the size of the device. Screen items are reassembling themselves according to the size of your screens. As you move the screen horizontal, or you move the screen vertical, or you change the orientation of your screen even, so it's responsive and it changes its layout automatically. So then after that uh, evolution, internet users increases drastically. Nowadays, this is 20 times more than the world's population. There are electronic devices, or especially the devices that uses internet. That is the reason nowadays you might have heard the term IoT, Internet of Things. So internet has evolved from computers, from handheld devices, to every appliance, every digital gadget that uses some digital technology. It also uses the internet. So with that massive amount of data, something that is very important is to make the web meaningful for computers as well, because we humans only are not enough to read the information available on the internet. हम अकेले जो है मिलियंस ऑफ ट्रिलियंस ऑफ वेब पेजेस को स्क्रॉल करके पढ़ के then we recognize some useful information, so it is not possible. So Google, Microsoft, Apple, Yahoo, all the big companies, search engines are working with various technologies to make uh, internet available or web available information readable for computers. So after or near about 2012 and 13, Tim Berners-Lee, who is the father of HTML, and nowadays what the term web you listen, W3C, W3C, that is World Wide Web. उसका जो pioneer है, father है, that is Tim Berners-Lee, and that Tim Berners-Lee introduces another concept of web that he called it as smart web or semantic web, that is bit intelligent than the previous web, where computers can read the contents of web pages like a data item, not like a web page that is in the human readable format. And next is the technology that added intelligence using natural language processing, IoT, AI, artificial intelligence, and a lot of other technologies. And then comes the conscious web. But conscious web is on its very early stages. So now we will be continuing with the concept semantic web. As I told you, a semantic web is what? Not the web of documents, but the web of data. It is the web of things. The normal structure of a web page is we use graphical contents, we use HTML as a scripting language for writing the codes, for writing the web pages. We use server side, client side scripting languages like JavaScript, ASP, PHP, and JSP as well. But for web of data, what we do is we convert these pages into the interactive form, to the collection of data objects. So in the semantic web, everything for us is not just visual content, but everything for us here is an object that has some meaning, an object that has some functions, an object that has some properties, and then they are connected to each other with some relationships that describe them or give them some meanings. Okay, let me quote an example here rather than moving ahead. Uh, have you ever searched any item on the Google even that gives you some other meaning? For example, I write on Google that my mouse is broken. So, what would you expect from Google? कि will it recognize that broken mouse का मतलब होता है computers का mouse because animal mouse cannot broke but it can die actually. Anyone, what do you expect? How Google will respond us? So nowadays, even Google has been added uh, many of these technologies that I have told you. So it may response like it tells you okay, your if your mouse is broken, that means that is your computer's mouse, and it can suggest you some alternative solutions for that. Okay, what you have to do. But let's talk about few of the features. But 10 days, 10 years back, it was not possible. आज से 10 साल पहले गूगल के लिए पॉसिबल नहीं था. But nowadays I'll be showing you many applications in which Google also is using the semantic web. And let us talk about the big advantages that semantic web contains over the traditional web, that is automation. In the semantic web, we actually automate the reading of data rather than human readable format. First, we convert the data into the computer readable format. Next is personalization. You people might have seen a lot of ads on your web pages that are related to you, yeah, rather than the general ads. For example, uh, while you are reading some article, you click an advertisement that contains Gulaman cell, for example. So next time when you access that website, not only that website, but you access any of the website, Google will show you some ads related to cloth brands or related to sale or anything that relates to that ad that you clicked and you proceeded. So it personalizes the data. It can help to personalize the data. Information retrieval. As with the advent of semantic web, it also become easier to retrieve the meaningful information rather than the human readable formats. Data reuse. So the data that is working on behind the scene inside the website become reusable for other websites as well. Next is the knowledge discovery, recognizing the invisible links among the data items. And whatever the applications I described here can make you curious, it is also possible with the help of machine learning and other applications of artificial intelligence. Then why we talk about the semantic web again? So here is a little bit valid reason why what semantic web is. Semantic web is web focused, while machine learning is performance focused. And here you will see pragmatic, automated, and in the web you will see the distributed computing. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the term distributed computing. So as the computing evolved, and we see a single machine, sometimes it's not possible to compute many of the things, and it is many of the times it is in idle state. For example, Zabest lab where I am sitting right now contains almost 50 PCs, but all of these PCs are turned off and of no use until unless there is a class here, right? So what the distributed computing does, it allows you to manipulate the resources that are in the idle state most of the time. That allows you to compute not only on a single processor, Sorry, welcome back. Okay, so distributed computing actually allows you to manipulate multiple machines as a single machine, where you can run your code like you are running on a single machine. Next, the semantic web is little bit slow as compared to machine learning processes because it works on huge amount of data. And so here you will see the architecture of semantic web. Semantic web in itself introduces a lot of other technologies that are right now I am unable to explain all of these technologies, but still I'll give you the introduction about all of these terms. Okay, what does it mean? At the very bottom level, here you see the semantic web of linked data, and over that layer, there is another layer called document type. So on internet, there are a lot of document in the form of HTML format. So we convert that HTML documents into the XML format. So I'm not sure how many of you familiar with the term XML. One is HTML that I hope everybody is familiar. Hypertext markup language. And next is XML. Okay, so you might have seen tags like this. An HTML page look like this. HTML, and there are a lot of contents in between these tags. But XML also works on tag, but it has a little difference. Okay, XML allows you to create your own tag as well. For example, if you are writing your own data item and you want to describe it in your own way, HTML में क्या होता है कि you have built-in limited sets of tag जिनको आप manipulate कर सकते हो, use कर सकते हो. But through XML you can define your own HTML as well. You can define your own sources of data as well. And the largest application of XML is it makes data readable universally. Any programming language that to which you define the format of your XML document, it can read data from XML document. So XML allows data to be universally readable for any of the programming language. It makes data cross platform. For example, सबसे एक फेमस एग्जांपल मुझे याद आ रही है दैट इज आई होप कि आप में से बहुत सारे लोगों ने MS वर्ड 2007 यूज किया होगा. MS वर्ड MS ऑफिस 2007 या उससे अर्लियर वर्जन जो होते थे उसमें इफ यू क्रिएट अ डॉक्यूमेंट and now you are opening that document into MS Office 2007, you have to make the file save as करके आप उस ऑप्शन को सेव करते थे. बैकवर्ड कंपैटिबिलिटी वाज नॉट पॉसिबल. आप एडवांस वर्जन में ओपन करने के लिए इट वाज वेरी मच नेसेसरी कि आप प्रीवियस वर्जन में फाइल को सेव एज करो. ठीक है, अदरवाइज आप एडवांस वर्जन की फाइल पुराने फाइल फॉर्मेट में ओपन नहीं कर सकते थे. ठीक है, सो देयर वाज द बैकवर्ड कंपैटिबिलिटी इशू. till Office 2007, but afterwards, up till now, that is Office 2016, but there is no issue. You can open your Office 2016 files into Office 2007 as well without any difficulty, without any interest, because every data element you can see on that document, MS Office, it is PowerPoint file, it is encoded into the XML format, and the description for that XML file has been saved somewhere. And whenever you carry a file, it also contains the description of that elements. And when you open it into the backward version of MS Office, it will translate or gets help from that description and open your file without any trouble. So there are a lot of applications that uses XML, and XML makes the data cross-platform. And there is a dialogue famous for XML that it says XML is a snake oil of the century. Uh, स्नेक ऑयल एक मुहावरा है जिसमें हम कहते हैं कि ऐसा ऑयल दैट इज द क्योर फॉर एवरी डिजीज. जिस तरह से यहाँ पर आपको नागमणि या इस तरह के एग्जाम्पल मिल जाते हैं, कहते हैं कि दिस इज शिफा फॉर एवरी काइंड ऑफ डिजीज. सो एक्सएमएल के लिए आई डू नॉट रिमेंबर द नेम ऑफ दैट टेक्नीशियन. He wrote that statement in his article that XML becomes the snake oil of the century, that was 20th century. And this is very true, as you see a lot of technologies here regarding semantic web, and these all technologies are based on XML. Sorry, I forgot to tell you the full form of XML is it is extendable or extended markup language. And all the description related to XML and its related technologies are also available at W3C, World Wide Web, and its schools and websites, official websites. Okay, so actually what we do, we convert HTML web into the XML web, first of all. And then that XML web become readable into the different formats, जिसमें से यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है RDF and triple format, RDF turtle format, RDF XML. RDF is what we call it resource description framework. That is a framework through which you describe your data sources and you write that description in the form of XML. XML is a kind of scripting language that is not fixed to the predefined tags, but it is open for everyone to describe data in their own words or in their own way. So, this is how semantic web adds some meaning to the traditional web. Here is a traditional web that is a web of collected objects. But here in semantic web, you see parallel to that given map, there is another map that is a bit meaningful. So here are some of the milestones, or we can say data timeline regarding the achievements of semantic web-based technologies. In 1997, W3C produced the first working draft of RDF, Resource Description Framework, and 2004 it evolves the concept of abstract syntax. In 98, a working draft of RDF schema is published by W3C, and in 2001 it was published publicly that American Science magazine scientific publishers article make invention of the web. Tim Berners-Lee titled it as semantic web. Earlier it was not named as semantic web, but at that time Tim Berners-Lee in his article named it as semantic web. Next was the web ontology language. It is nothing but a query language. आपको एक चीज़ मैं दिखा सकती हूँ. I have an example to demonstrate you how that meaning actually works. Okay, I'll be showing you a tool that is called Protege, and I'll show you some ontologies open inside that tool. फिलहाल हम concepts पढ़ लेते हैं, and then I'll show you how it works. So in 2004, web ontology language was introduced. And in 2006, Tim Berners-Lee pointed out that putting data out of the web isn't enough. Data has to be linked together, related data to be linked, and the purpose that was called linked open data (LOD) and defined a five-star system to grade how well the people shared the data. And this is called as linked data on semantic web. And at 2013, Google search gets a hummingbird update, which is the search engine. As I told you कि आज से 10 साल पहले Google was not able to semantically recognize the objects. It was only working on the keywords. For example, if you search for the word mouse is broken, so Google make the letters like mouse is broken, so it might be returning you the results of the biological mouse as well. But nowadays Google is adding that application along with the semantic web, which makes it able to bifurcate all type of data. And properly, it is 2021, which is considered to be the birth year of semantic web nowadays. So here you can see some of the real world applications from the semantic web. So it was reported in 2007 that an industry was using RDFS, and OWL to combine the data from diverse sources and standardize the data exchange, sharing, and integrating cross-platform and application. As I told you, one of the biggest application of XML-based technologies is to allow the data to be cross-platform. Once you converted your data into or written your data in the form of XML, it is readable for every programming language. You don't need to translate your data into a particular format. In 2010, Facebook launched Open Graph that web publishers can use to integrate their web pages into the Facebook social graph as well. And it is still a very huge application of using RDF based platforms. And during FIFA World Cup 2010, BBC website uses semantic web technologies to dynamically display the contents. SparkQL, that is actually owl-based query language that was used for searching and recognizing and क्या कहते हैं इसको, retrieving the meaningful information from their databases. Okay, so now I want to demonstrate you people how these resources actually work. So I would like to show you a tool in my screen. You might feel it a little bit tricky, but it is not that much tricky if somebody of you is familiar with any of the programming language. So you won't hesitate to see that interface. So here is the tool called Protege, and I have a beta version. Protege is nothing but an ontology management tool. Actually, I want to show you how semantic data look like. I want to open some of my built-in ontologies over there, bilingual. For example, so inside the semantic web, ontology is nothing but vocabulary. Okay? Ontology is vocabulary like dictionary, but it is totally different from the dictionary in a form of syntax. You can see here, this is an example. I have created a system of translation by using ontologies. For example, there is an object called color. कोई भी object है, concept है, real world, color. And there are some categorization or other types, that is basic color, mixed color, and fruits, all time fruits, seasonal fruits. So what I have done, I have created an ontology that is parallel to that of the given ontology in English. एक ontology आपके सामने है, that is in English, and there is an exactly parallel ontology in Sindhi. And if I want to relate this item to this one, sorry, seasonal fruit, so I can relate it because their structures are same, their properties are same, their behaviors are same. So there are a lot of techniques. If you are interested, you can learn it. Here I was just demonstrating you how it look like. I am opening another ontology, for example, uh, family tree, for example. Actually, these files are very old. I was working on these files in 2016 and 18. So here you can see these concepts are defined parallelly. Right now, I am unable to explain you each and everything about this, but here I just show you some of the things. For example, marriage. Marriage is a word जिसका equivalent word है inside Sindhi, that is शादी, equivalent, and it is subclass of domain family and subclass anonymous ancestor, for example. And there are a lot of relationships that I can explain regarding this particular term, or I can aid data properties, the type of relationships it can work on, and I can write a query as well. For example, if I write a query and want to search a particular information that makes it meaningful, so I just go and open a built-in query because फिलहाल मुझे अपनी ontology वाली programming पे भरोसा नहीं है. So I just want to open a built-in query that works. So this is actually an XML file here you can see, and it is in the form of RDF, resource description framework. And here you can see some of the description links and tags similar to like HTML, having some properties, and there is some data inside it. And this looks similar to HTML, but it is not HTML, as HTML has limited built-in tags. Here in XML you can define your own tags as well. So okay, I'm done from my side. If anybody has any question, you can ask. Till that, I'm just finding some of the queries, built-in queries that I can run here and show you how data is meaningful. Okay, if anyone has any question, you can ask.
Does anyone has any questions? I guess there are no questions. I would like to thank Ma'am Maksud for this great webinar, and I also want to thank you all for playing your part in this webinar. Hope to meet you all again. Till that, stay safe and thank you.
Okay, Allah Hafiz everyone.